Grunge is a good look for you.
Did you have a rough day, Agent Fury?
I'm gonna need clarification on this space invasion.
Skrulls are infiltrating your planet. They're shapeshifters.
Okay, prove you're not a Skrull.
That's a photon blast.
And?
A Skrull cannot do that.
I'm just supposed to take your word for that.
We are Kree. Strong, united. You have to let go of the past.
I don't remember my past.
Control it.
I have this power, but I don't know where it came from.
I've never seen anything like her.
You think you can find others?
She's just the beginning.
You've come a long way, but you're not as strong as you think.
What is this?
The S.H.I.E.L.D. logo.
Does announcing your identity on clothing help with the covert part of your job?
Said the space soldier who was wearing a rubber suit.
Get tickets now.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. We got a whole bunch of new Captain Marvel footage to break down. We're doing a new round of that IMAX ticket giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite moment on the video. The big thing about this is just in filling out a little bit more of the back and forth, the actual feel for what her character is like when she's not delivering those big one-liners. Like she's actually talking to Nick Fury, they're cracking a couple of jokes with each other. They start out with the Terminator 2 reference with her going to the biker bar in the leather biker jacket, the 9 Inch Nails. Nick Fury makes fun of her for being super 90s grunge while the 90s song comes on the record player in the jukebox and she just blasts it to hell. Skrulls can't do that, it's a photon blast. They polished a lot of the special effects in this, but you get a little bit more of her explaining the actual secret invasion of it all. If you don't remember Avengers Secret Invasion from the comics, that's basically what they're doing for this movie, which is why I don't think that they'll do another bigger version of Secret Invasion in a future Avengers movie. Like, there'll always be Skrulls in the future movies, but they're not going to riff quite as hard on the Secret Invasion aspect. Because they've started finishing some of the effects, you actually see the Skrulls change into other people when they spot that really hot chick with the surfboard on the beach. Even the train fight with her looks a little more polished, and they have a couple different angles, like you see her grab the back of her head and jam it into the pole there. Look at this dude's face in the background too. He's horrified, like, oh my god, what's happening to this old lady? They have way more funny reaction shots, like right after she goes to town on this little old lady's Skrull, she blows the hair out of her face really casually, then as a sort of commentary on not being able to tell whether or not people are really Skrulls, just saying, you'll have to trust me, and sort of laughing at him a little bit, cocking her eye up, like, maybe I am a Skrull. But yeah, pretty sure in this moment, she's not a Skrull. Mostly because a lot of you will recognize when she said Skrulls can't do that, when she gives off her photon blast, that only the Super Skrull can emulate other people's powers. Regular Skrulls can just do their appearance. I'm sure they'll test the limit of that during this. Like, how hard do you have to hit them before they start to change back? Love the look on Sam Jackson's face while he's just soaking it all in, like he just can barely believe it. If you're picking up a Lethal Weapon or like 48 Hours vibe, that's because the director sort of built that buddy cop aspect into the film. Like, they're riffing on a lot of those big 90s buddy cop action films. Terminator 2 is a big one. Die Hard is a really good example. Sam Jackson was in Die Hard 3. His Nick Fury haircut even looks like the haircut that he had during Die Hard 3. Speaking of which, other big Terminator 2 reference, the jacket she actually gets from Rob Kaczynski. If you don't recognize him here, he seems like he's supposed to be some funny, tough biker dude that tries to come up on her, maybe hit on her, and she just completely lays him out, steals his jacket like Schwarzenegger, taking the clothes of the bikers at the biker bar and their bike and then taking off. So it's like saying that she's the Terminator during this movie. I don't know if they're actually going to give anyone that line, "Come with me if you want to live," or any of Schwarzenegger's lines from that movie, because it does feel like they're going for some of those comedic beats. You get a whole bunch more of the Kree homeworld and her with Star Force. This actually looks like it's from early in the movie, like where you see them flying through space and what looks like a little bit of water here too with their masks up. Because the Kree-Skrull War is such a big part of the movie, this just seems like a random mission to go take down some Skrulls. It's not really clear when they find out that the Skrulls have targeted Earth and then head back. This fight that she's having with Jude Law's character, who we now know is actually Jan Rog, is actually very telling. Like, he seems like he's trying to help her control her abilities, but he says, leave the past behind you. She keeps talking about not remembering where she's from. I don't remember anything about my past. And then she gets a little bit of a temper after he puts her down. She starts to light her fist up. Control it. Calm down. This seems like very clear setup for a big fight between the two of them by the end of the movie. Like they have this lesson that he imparts to her, some sort of brutal wisdom. Then at the end of the movie, when she's remembered her past and become this fully actualized comic book version of Captain Marvel, completely binary, she turns whatever wisdom he's laying on her back on him while she's beating the crap out of him. Love the extra shots of her getting her powers and the explosion from the Psyche Magnetron infusing her with energy. The way Brie Larson and Kevin Feige talk about it is the accident only unlocks or enhances things that are already there. So I do think that, she's bleeding that green blood, that she is going to be part Kree during the movie. But there have been a couple prequel stories where they changed her backstory from the classic version of Carol Danvers. So we'll see. There'll be a couple things that'll be a little bit different from the comics. I'll talk about that whenever I do Easter egg videos. There's the funny Avengers reference from Nick Fury when he's talking to his boss Talos, who he does not know is secretly a Skrull in disguise. You think you'll find more like her, talking about finding other superpowered people. Oh, she's only the beginning. And, even though technically Captain America is the first Avenger, obviously after this, in the early mid-2000s, is when we start seeing the Hulk manifest, we start seeing Iron Man, we get that post-credit scene where he tells him about the Avengers Initiative. So this movie is also going to serve as sort of the birth of that idea that eventually evolves into the Avengers Initiative, but I don't know if he'll actually coin that phrase during this. Because we're heading into Avengers Endgame, it just feels like a really big teaser moment. Like, aha, he's doing the thing. Like there'll be a little file folder that will read Avengers Initiative on it as he closes a drawer or something like that. The only other stuff about this other footage that's different is that everything from like the end of the trailer where she's gone full binary and she's flying around blowing all those Kree ships up is that they polish the CG a lot better. So everything looks a little bit sharper, the colors pop more, and you can pick her out of the background a lot better. Like this is full Mohawk shot, just looks way better than the previous ones that we've seen so far. I do love the way she lights her hair up when she activates her powers and the explainer for why she has the Mohawk. It's just really the way the helmet forms around her head so that all of her long hair just sticks out the top, and that's where the Mohawk comes from. Her talking about Photon is also a reference to the character Photon, Maria, and Monica Rambeau. So Maria Rambeau is Monica Rambeau's mother. Maria was one of her friends in the Air Force. She was another pilot. Her code name is Photon, and when she grows up, her daughter, Monica Rambeau, gets powers. She calls herself Photon for a little while, but I believe she's calling herself Spectrum right now in the comics, so I do think that we will see some version of a young Monica Rambeau, just implying that maybe someday she'll grow up and become one of these new Avengers-level characters, but no idea if they're going to try and pay that off during Avengers Endgame, or if they'll save that for another Captain Marvel sequel, because presumably when the next Captain Marvel movie picks up, if there is a sequel, it'll be during present day, so it'll be 20 years after the events that are happening right now. There's also an Avengers reference at the end when Nick Fury is burning her for wearing the rubber suit when she makes fun of wearing your logo on a hat, like announcing yourself wherever you go. That's sort of a larger joke about people like Spider-Man or Captain America that wear their logo on their chest. Like you sort of announce who you are the minute you walk in. Like you know exactly who Spider-Man is when he walks into a room. Like, oh, you have a spider symbol on your chest. If you guys didn't see it either, there was a big Kevin Feige interview where he was talking about everything. He talked a lot about Captain Marvel, he talked about Guardians of the Galaxy 3, about Avengers Endgame. I will do a separate video about that. There were a lot of people that were confused and seeing all kinds of rumors about Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, and Avengers Endgame. I do think it's kind of ridiculous, but I did make a video addressing that, so I'll post that sometime in the next day or two. For those of you asking about new Avengers Endgame trailers and footage, I'm not expecting that till we get to the Super Bowl, because every year for the last couple of years, they bought a Super Bowl ad, at least one, so we'll at least see some Avengers Endgame. We might also see some more Captain Marvel, but we'll see, because it's only a couple weeks away. If you spotted any big Easter eggs that I didn't mention in the video, just leave them below in the comments. And if you have any specific requests for bonus videos, don't worry, there's a couple Marvel videos that I'll be posting in the next day or two. While you wait for everything, click here for that new Game of Thrones Season 8 teaser, and click here to learn why Marvel just retconned Loki and Thor in the MCU before Endgame. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.